I will refer to two lectures yesterday to a certain extent for describing generally the financial system and the financial markets. I think we have heard already a lot about the functioning of the financial system today. Dimitrios has clearly explained how it functions politically, actually, and in many respects I have heard of this. So I will try to get some systematic in the discussion. And I start first with the market, like Thomas yesterday explained it. Market is an interaction, and Gary referred also strongly to it. It's a social innovation, and in the traditional sense we have the interaction of economic actors in relation to their things, to their commodities, and including the money. So it's not a self-organizing device, but it's some kind of organizational central device for creating a society. And if we take out the economic dimension of it, we have two effects. First, a coordination effect. A second effect is also a stratification. So it's also directing people down a harmonious or more or less harmonious entity. So if we restrain this mechanism to goods or economic things, we leave out the people. It is just the Homo economicus which is in it, but this is an empty box. So the main problem is, and this applies also for the financial markets, to have persons introduced in this mechanism of coordination, development in cases where you have more or less free markets. It's also a quite good allocation of resources. But the main device in it are the persons. So these persons have always values, and this goes to a point which has been discussed yesterday also. What do you mean by value? And if I refer to Adam Smith, we have two kinds of values. We are restrained ourselves roughly to the economic system. We have the value of exchange and the value in use. So this division, which hasn't been mentioned yesterday, is extremely important. Because the first one, the value in exchange, starts from free competition, where costs are prices, and everything goes according to the exchange values, what concerns the economic development. So there we have a very misleading development during 200 years. We are just looking at values of exchange, and this leads us to an iron law development where every coordination by this competitive system, even if there are many monopolies or imperfect competition, we argue always that the allocation of resources is more or less good, and we have an economic development which is completely isolated from the social context or the society development. So if we use the value in use, this is quite different. But we will see it has also a deviation in about 1870, with the upcoming of the neoclassical theory by Valrat, Gerrans, and Menger. So, value in use is, or for giving an example, is if you have a chair and it has 4 legs, it is worse than one with 3 legs because it's more stable to sit on. This is a famous example already by Adam Smith made, that that's the use value, what you can do with something. But we have this deviation at the beginning of the 19th century also with the Benthamian theory, that we have utilities. And utilities are very restrained to economic considerations. So we have to look here in this long-run development also that the persons came out not only value in for exchange, but also the value in use had been only the utility which is in the neoclassical theory in the foreground with Pareto optimal application and things like this. So what we see here is that we lost also the persons. And for the financial market, what I already mentioned, to introduce the persons, we cannot rely on this kind of values which derived from Adam Smith, but degenerated to a purely utilitarian perspective. So, if we go now to the financial market, and we look roughly on what happens there with the persons, we come immediately to the fact that the most intelligent, the most paid, the most influential persons, roughly said, in our society since a few decades, they go all into this financial sphere. So we find there are people who have values which are, according to the neoclassical theory, the Homo economicus in some context, but also in those cases, and this has mentioned yesterday Gary, those who can make more of themselves and more of the society if they have money. So, people who are going in the financial market, they gain money, but they use the money according to the classical understanding of the neoclassical theory. So, the values of those in the financial market, they are enhanced by being well paid or having a lot of fortune, and they deviate the financial system in a direction which has been described by many people here, and everybody knows what goes on in the financial market. So when we want to reduce the detrimental effects of the financial system, we have to question the values of those people who are in it. So this is not easy, because this financial system is within a hierarchy of financial, commodity markets and labor markets, so it's dominates the system overall. What we can do in this context is, to a very limited extent, to have a secondary system, and this relies to the discussion before, because the power of the formal financial system is so strong that they can have only niches. And we should not be too optimistic to develop an alternative concept of the financial markets, because I'm convinced it would be maybe just a niche and everybody can do there what they want, but the big international financial markets, I refer to the existing World Bank or the International Monetary Fund, we cannot see clearly in how far they can be reformed fundamentally. Stieglitz and others have discussed this at length. So we are standing now just before the question how we can change the values of those who are who went into the financial markets. And if these values can be changed, then the whole system will be quite differently working and can be directed toward welfare and well-being and low growth, ecologically oriented growth and things like this. But this warning, I think, should be a point which much more reflection than alternatives to our system. We have to reform the system within it. Thank you.